Alright, what's going on everybody? It's Falcon here again for another very interesting video. Last time we made a video like this, I was talking about characters that I feel should be buffed and what characters should be nerfed, in my personal opinion, for, I'm guessing, Season 4. Because Season 3 is coming to an end, and I have a feeling that they will be announcing Season 4. And I decided to talk about, in my opinion, what characters should be buffed and nerfed. This time we're doing another tier list based kind of video. But this time, it's going to be talking about a completely different subject. It's talking about characters that I feel, basically a difficulty tier list. That's what I'm trying to say. Basically talking about characters that I feel are hard, very hard, average, easy, and as you see, scrub mode kind of character. Scrubby based characters. And, I wanted to express my opinion towards you guys about certain characters again. And I hope that you guys will enjoy my opinions on basically all the characters. I'm not going to go into full detail on every single character because I don't know all the characters as well as others. But I'm going to try my best. And I've been thinking about doing this for a while now. But now I really want to talk about it. I posted the tier list on Twitter if you want to see it. But let's just get right into it. So, the categories. You got very hard, average, easy, and scrub mode. You guys know what that means, I hope. So, let's start right up the top. Let's start with very hard characters. And I put all the Mishimas at very hard. Heihachi, Kazuya, Jin, and Devil Jin. In reality, all of these characters are extremely difficult. You need extremely good execution, very strong fundamentals, especially with a character like Kazuya, and even Heihachi. Guys, they're Mishimas. All Mishimas are hard. Devil Jin, even though he's a little bit more brain dead than the others, I still think he is very, very difficult. Heihachi, super hard to play. Really lacking when it comes to lows and when it comes to while staying punishment. So that is a problem. And Kazuya, again, super good execution. And you need to know what move to use at a certain situation. Because even though you don't use many moves with Kazuya, that could also be called a weakness because the opponent's going to know what move you're going to use. So you have to mix it up. So Kazuya, hard. Jin, super strong. One of the best characters in the game. But, again, you need super good execution. And you need to know what move to use in a certain situation. That can be very hard to do. Because if you don't know what move to use in a certain situation, you can lose. So, very, very important. All Mishimas are hard. Akuma, I think he is very, very hard. Really, really high in execution. Even though he does have some pretty busted shit. Again, super strong execution. And knowing what move to use. Shit, sorry about that. But yeah, you need God tier execution to play Akuma well. Brian, also in my opinion, super difficult. Super high in execution. Need very good fundamentals because Brian is very different from your typical Tekken character. He doesn't have a good down forward 1. He doesn't have a down forward 2 launcher, no hop kick. He's just very, very different. He is very strong, absolutely. But, again, really hard to play. Really high in execution. Especially if you want his big boy combos. And you need to do a lot of core circle forward backs, core circle forwards, forward, back inputs. You need a lot of input knowledge to play Brian well. Brian's only good with really, really strong players, in my personal opinion. Steve, also super high in execution. All these characters require execution, just to let you know, in the very hard category. They all take execution. Steve, even though he's super strong, you need super strong fundamentals, super good execution to get his, for his flicker cancels. You need to know what move to use. His combos can take execution. Again, just like Brian, very different from your typical Tekken character. You can't just pick Steve up and just do moves. You need to know what you're doing to play Steve well. Same thing with Brian. Same thing with all these characters. So yeah, you all know Steve. Super, super high in execution. Lee, same thing. Super high in execution. He used to take more execution in Season 1 and Season 2, but since he did get a new move in Forward 4-1, they did make him easier to use, but he's still very difficult. Super high in execution, And even if you have the execution, I still don't feel Lee is a very strong character. I feel like there are easier and more effective characters in this game than Lee. So that's why I feel it's extremely hard to do well with Lee. It is possible, I'm not saying it's impossible. His back 4 alone is a super, super strong move. And can be used kind of brain deadly. But that's about it. You also need the good execution from the slide if you want a really chunky low with him, because all of his other lows other than the slide are not super scary in my opinion. So if you want a scary low to threaten the opponent, just like with Law and Shaheen, you have to slide, and that takes execution. And his full crouch mix-up, I just don't feel is as good as Law and Shaheen's. So, yeah, Lee, super difficult to play. And it's not like he's super strong, because I don't think he is. And then finally, we have Armor King. Also, Armor King does take execution, especially with the Dark Upper. Super good execution. But it's not even the execution that's the main reason why he's hard. It's just because, again, he's hard, but just like with Lee, he's just also quite weak. He's not as bad as Lee in my opinion. Wait, hang on. I think Lee is slightly better than Armor King, but I just don't feel Armor King is very strong. He's just extremely lackluster. And I talked about that in my tier list video and how I think he should be fixed. But you can ask plenty of people that hang around me. This character is not good, and he doesn't work in this game. They really, really need to buff him for Season 4. And I'm dead serious. Please buff Armor King. Make him, make him worth the work you need to put in with the character. Because as of right now, I just think he's too hard for what you get. I think King is just I think he's easier and stronger. I actually put Armor King previously in the hard category, but after really thinking about it and talking to people, I decided to move him up to very hard. So yeah, if you do main Armor King and play him well, much respect for you, because this character is super hard to play in this game. Super difficult. So those are all the characters in the very hard category. Now again, I want to try to go a little bit faster. So first, for the hard category, you have Hordong. This character is interesting. This character, I hate this character. This character is so fucking annoying. His pressure, flamingo, his throws, his damage. Hordong is overall, I think he's quite good. And he even has some defensive tools as of right now with the back 1, the parry he got, the backlash, the power crushes. I think overall, Hordong is very annoying and very strong. However, we can't deny the fact that he does take good execution. You need really good execution. And you also need very good fundamentals, because you need to know what move to use, because they're all in different stances. So, even though he is fucking annoying, absolutely, there is execution. But because of the ridiculous shit he can do, that's why I didn't put him in very hard, but he's definitely hard. Absolutely, for sure. Definitely harder than your typical Tekken character. And the reward you get is quite good. You get pretty good reward for playing Hordong. So that's my thoughts on Hordong. Law. Law is also very interesting. Some people, I think, would put Law in average or maybe even easy because of his very party mode kind of playstyle that you can do with him. But the reason why I put him in hard is because of the DSS. The DSS alone really does push Law in difficulty. The thing with Law is that you can play Law very party mode. You can do that. And it can work because it's online mode. Offline, obviously not. But online, you can get away with murder with this character. You can get away with a lot of shit in the lower ranks. But then when you get to higher ranks, people will counter that stuff. But then you have the DSS, which gives Law some of the most ridiculous frames in the game, in my personal opinion. His frames when you get into DSS, is crazy. However, it takes very good execution. It's really hard to master DSS. Really, really hard. Even I struggle with it. And I have pretty solid execution. So, because of the DSS, this is the reason why I put Law in hard. This is why I respect, high-level LoL players. Because they don't play, brain dead like the lower ranks do. The lower ranks can get away with a lot of shit. And the top-level players are just going to be really, really fucking strong. So because of the DSS, that's the reason why I put him in hard. Because of that. If he didn't have DSS, Law would easily be an average or easy in my opinion. Probably easy. Nina, I think overall Nina is not very strong. I've said this before. I think Nina, if you know the strings, if you know what you're doing against a Nina player, the Nina player almost has nothing to threaten you with, basically. You need really good fundamentals to play her good. And even then, it's not going to be worth it, in my opinion. And you need very good execution. I was actually going to put her in very hard, but in lower levels of play, you can get away with a lot of shit with her because of her strings. But in the higher levels of play, yeah, it's honestly almost impossible, in my opinion, to play Nina. Like, I just can't see how someone can play Nina well at that level if they know the strings. Unless if they have really good execution. So that's why I put Nina in hard. I think she's definitely harder than your average character. Absolutely. Xiaoyu. The thing with Xiaoyu, the reason why I put her here is because, here's the thing. In lower levels of play, you basically destroy the shit out of people with this character. I mean, you can get away with murder with her, kind of like with Law, and even with Nina. And honestly, even with Hordong, with all the characters I mentioned so far, you get away with a lot of shit in lower ranks because of how hard she is to fight. However, once you come across people that know how to fight Xiaoyu well, you need to be extremely creative. And you need a little bit of execution. Not a lot, but a little bit. But the reason why I put her in hard is because you need to be extremely creative with her when you get a bit to higher levels of play. Very creative. And that's what I kind of like about Xiaoyu. With people that have good, when they have, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, when they have good creativity, Xiaoyu works really well. But it's not the easiest character. Definitely. So that's why I did put her harder than average, in my personal opinion. Yoshi. I think Yoshi's also harder than your average character, absolutely. He doesn't take much execution, but just like with Xiaoyu, you get away with a lot of shit in the lower ranks, but then at higher levels of play, you need to be probably more creative with Yoshi than even with Xiaoyu, because Xiaoyu does have some fundamental tools. Yoshi doesn't have that, or doesn't have much of it. So with Yoshi, same thing. You have to be extremely creative to do well with Yoshi. And again, I mean, you do need a little bit of execution, a little bit, but again, just like with Xiaoyu, not much. It kind of, Yoshi and Xiaoyu are kind of similar in that way, but Xiaoyu is definitely stronger to play. So that's why I do think Yoshi is definitely harder. Definitely hard. Not easy at all. King, I also think, is not the easiest character to play, in my opinion. You do need execution, do need to have some fundamental tools, but once you get that stuff, you have a really, really powerful character. But I don't think he's a character that you can just pick up and play. You do need to know some things, in my opinion, to play with King. To play with both the Kings. You know what I mean? But I do think King is easier than Armor King. Absolutely. Absolutely, in my opinion. King is not the easiest character either. But he's still super strong. And then we have Gigas. This is a very interesting choice. Some people are going to put Gigas in easy. Most people I know are probably going to put Gigas in easy. Because it's like, he's so simplistic. And you'd be right. He's very simplistic. He has no execution. Absolutely. But the reason why I put him at hard is for the simple fact that he sucks. He's just a terrible character. Honestly, at every level of play, he's just very, very hard to play because of how lacking he is as a character. But like I've said numerous times, Gigas is better than what people think he is. Some people think he's useless. He's not useless. If you have really fucking good fundamentals, like really good fundamentals, like pro-level fundamentals, Gigas can work. But if you don't have that, I just don't see how you can play as Gigas. I just can't. And since he's just so lacking as a character, he's just so limited. He just doesn't have a lot going for him. And because there's other characters in this game that are so fucking strong compared to him, I just think they're just way, way better characters to play than Gigas. So this is the reason why I put him in hard. I was even thinking about putting him in very hard, but I decided since he is designed to be very simplistic, I'm not going to go that far. So I decided to put him in hard. I think he's harder than average, in my opinion, because of how bad he is compared to everyone else. Eddie, just like with Xiaoyu and Yoshi, you get away with a lot of shit in the lower levels of play, absolutely. But then when you get to higher levels of play, much harder. You need a lot more creativity. He has much weaker tools, in my opinion. And just another character where you have to be very creative to do well with him. Kind of like with Xiaoyu and Yoshi. If you don't have that creativity, Eddie is not a good character at all. At all. So that's why he, again, also harder than the average character. But in lower levels of play, yeah, you can destroy everyone with this character. Everyone, basically, in those ranks. And, next up is Geese. Geese is hard. Geese is pretty difficult in my opinion. You need very good execution, and you need good fundamentals, and he does have weaknesses. Like, if the opponent's backdashing a lot, keeping you away, Geese has a really hard time because he has serious range problems. You need the fundamentals. He does need execution. Every single level of play, he has execution. He does have some cheese with some of his strings if they don't know the matchup, so that helps Geese, absolutely. But if you're at higher levels of play and the opponent knows what they're doing, and almost everyone should know what they're doing against Geese at that level because he's seen so often, especially back in Season 2 and Season 1. That's why I think he's harder to use, but I do still think that, if you know what you're doing, Geese is a good character, and he can kick the shit out of certain people if you really have the fundamentals and execution. If you have that, he's a good character, in my opinion. Lei is another character where, just like with all the other gimmicky characters, you need strong creativity to do well with him. His frames are not very strong, but this is another character where you basically destroy everybody in lower levels of play. Another character where you do that. But once you get into the pro level play, just like with everyone else, people will counter you, and you need to be extremely creative. When I talk about characters like this that I consider hard, like Eddie, Xiaoyu, Yoshi, I'm talking about creativity. Lei doesn't really take execution, maybe outside of Razor Rush. That's really about it in my opinion. But yeah, creativity is crucial with this character. Crucial. Once you have it, you can play pretty nasty. Julia. Oh boy. I'm gonna be honest, I hate this character. I hate fighting Julia. She is so fucking annoying. She's so strong. I really wanted to put her down at I honestly wanted to put her at scrub mode because of how strong she was. But she does take execution. Just like with Hwoarang, I hate her, but you do need execution to play her very well. So that's why I'm trying to deal with Julia, but I just can't. I still think Julia needs nerfs, but she needs very good execution. Very good execution, especially to get her really good combos going. And Zafina. I think Zafina, another character where you do have to be kind of creative, in my opinion. It takes a little bit of execution, but not as much as the others, in my opinion. But just like with all the other gimmick characters, she's very confusing kind of a character. I think you could argue her being an average, in my opinion, but to me, I think she's hard because of her creativity stuff. But I don't think she's as creative as characters like Lei, Xiaoyu, Yoshi. That's why I put her kind of lower on the hard section, but... And this list isn't in order, by the way, but I decided to put Zafina that lower because I was really thinking about putting her in average, but I just didn't know. So I just put her really low on the hard list. You could drop her down if you want to because she is very strong, and no one knows the matchup, basically, which, again, helps Zafina. But that could honestly help any character in the game, honestly, but especially those kind of characters, especially. And now we're going to get into characters that I feel are around average. So in my opinion, Dragunov, people might put Dragunov in easy, and I don't blame them because he is extremely strong. But the main reason why I put him in average was because of the instant while running 2. There is some execution for that. And it does take execution to do some of his really, really absurd combos. Bread and butter combos. But other than that, I don't call Dragunov a hard character. That's why I decided just to put him in average. A little bit of execution, not that much. While running 2, instant while running 2 is not that hard. It's not that bad, people. People think it's so bad, but it really isn't. It's not that hard with practice. Paul is also interesting. I think that people are also probably going to put Paul in easy because he is extremely strong. His damage is ridiculous. He has some crazy punishment. He has crazy moves, period. His throws are really good. Paul is overall very, very strong. But the reason why I put him in average is there is execution. There is some execution playing with Paul. And I don't like facing Pauls. I don't. But I can deal with him because with most of his attacks, all you need to do really fast quarter circle forwards or quarter circle backs to get his really good moves out. Like quarter circle back 4, quarter circle back 2, quarter circle back 1. The Death Fist. Corsical Forward 3. You know what I mean? Corsical Forward 1. He does take some execution to get those moves to come out. And those are some of his best moves. Honestly, all of his sway moves, in my opinion, are good. I don't know a single sway move that he has that I would consider not usable or okay. They're all really, really good attacks. So, and some of his combos could take execution with the Corsical Forward 1 if you want to do that. But because of the execution on some of his core circle moves, that's why I did consider Paul harder than easy. Lily, yeah, around average. There's a little bit of execution with some of her combos. But overall, Lily, not that hard, in my opinion. Feng Wei, also around average. Feng Wei really reminds me of Jin, like I said in the other tier list video. I think he's like Jin, but he's easier to use. Another character where you need to know what move to use in a certain situation, and that is what makes Fang very good. But that also does make him a little bit harder to use, but not by much. There isn't really any execution really with this character that I'm thinking of. But overall, yeah, I think he's definitely average. Leo, some people say Leo's easy. I think Leo's harder than that. He does take some execution with some of the combos and some of the castles that he does have. But other than that, there's nothing too hard I would say about this character. And he's also very strong. Kazumi. Kazumi is going to be interesting. In my opinion, I think Kazumi... Some people think Kazumi is piss easy. And she's very easy to just pick up and play because she doesn't have a lot of moves. But the thing with Kazumi is she's also kind of limited. Just a little bit limited. But her pokes are so strong. But the reason why I put her on average is because you need very good fundamentals to play this character really well. But if you have those fundamentals, she is really fucking good. Really good. She has some of the best fundamental tools in the whole game. But if you don't have those fundamental tools, she is hard to play. You could argue putting her in hard, but she's just so strong. So, excuse me. Yeah, I think overall she's average in my opinion. Shaheen, also average, kind of like Kazumi, where you need very good fundamentals to play Shaheen well. You do need some execution with some of the combos, and his slide motion, the slide, also takes execution. But, yeah, other than that, yeah, Shaheen's around average, in my opinion. Raven, need a little bit of execution, a little bit. But other than that, not that hard in my opinion. You can abuse some of the gimmicks. You can abuse some of her gimmicks a little bit against certain people. And Ganryu also around average. You do need good fundamentals to get his really good pressure going, and a little bit of execution with some of the combos. But other than that, again, not very hard. You can get away with you can get away with a lot of shit with this character because no one knows the matchup basically. And now we're gonna get into characters that I think are easy. This is gonna be interesting. Lars isn't strong by any means. He's not supposed to be strong in this game, but he is designed to be easy. He's easy in most levels except for professional play, obviously. People are gonna know how to beat him. But in most other levels of play, he's really just pick up and play. There isn't really much execution, maybe outside of forward back 2-1, using that as a punisher. But other than that, again, he's designed to be easy. There's nothing too crazy hard about him except for him not being that strong. But since he's not that strong, you could put him in average. I could definitely move Lars up to average because of that. But, you know, it's my little debate. Bob, I think Bob is easy. The only thing you could say is hard with him is maybe the crouch dash, wave dash stuff. But you don't necessarily need that with Bob compared to Mishima's. But yeah, Bob, not a hard character in my opinion. Jack also is very easy in my opinion. There's nothing really hard about him. There's no execution basically. You do need good fundamentals though, kind of like with Kazumi and Shaheen. But other than that, not a very hard character. Josie, not hard in my opinion. Just, you can definitely abuse some of her strings. Doesn't take much execution. I don't think Josie's very hard. Eliza, most people don't know the matchup, so you can abuse a shitload of things. Even at high level play, she's really abusable. The only thing really execution with her is the dive kicks, but other than that, again, she's not strong, but I think she's the easiest 2D character to play in my opinion because of the gimmicks. can really take advantage of that. Sorry about that. Miguel, also not very hard in my opinion. Not much execution. Miguel's designed to be easy. He's not designed to be a hard character. Noctis is easy. One of the easiest characters in the game, in my opinion. I could have put him at scrub mode, but I decided, since I had so many characters there, I decided to move him up to easy because he can be rushed down at close range because he doesn't have a dick jab. He has some pokes and strings, but his dick, not having a dick jab, that's a huge problem. But other than that, and he takes no execution either. There's no execution going into Noctis. And Negan, also very, very strong character, very oppressive, very good at rushdown. He's designed to be very easy. Basically no execution. Needs some fundamentals, but not much. He's easy. He's easy. And now we're going to get to scrub mode. These are characters, in my opinion, that I think, and this has the most amount of characters in it, but these are the characters that I think are piss easy characters. Characters that you can get away with so much shit, and you can basically win almost everyone. Beat almost everyone, except for professional play. Alyssa, do I need to go into detail about this character? She takes no execution. Her fundamentals are super good. She takes no execution whatsoever. She can get in on you very easily. Her chainsaws alone are fucking brain dead. This is honestly a character that kind of reminds me of Law, but a million times easier. Because she doesn't have any like DSS or anything like that. With Alyssa, people will play her in lower levels of play because she's so party mode based. And then you'll see her at high level play because of her amazing fundamental tools and frames. And her get in tools. So honestly, you could play Alyssa in any level you want and do well with her. Her combo damage isn't very good and her grabs aren't very good, but her lows are good. So it's not like she needs throws. But she does have weaknesses. I'm not saying she's perfect, but Alyssa is piss easy in my opinion. Piss easy. Super strong, super easy for how strong she is. Asuka, kind of the same thing, but not as bad as Alyssa. She's extremely defensive. If you want a very brain dead defensive kind of character, Asuka's for you. Her back 3 and side step 4 alone are crazy moves. Her panic moves are super good with her can kick, and even her parry. And down back 1-2 is a good high crush panic move if you want, even though it is mid-high. Most people aren't going to duck that online. And just another character where I just think she's so easy for how effective she can be at most levels of play. So, yeah, Asuka's easy. Very easy. Katarina's the easiest character in the game. I mean, of course she's going to be in scrub mode. Yeah, her range is ridiculous because of her legs. Her combo damage is insanely high. And again, there's literally zero execution playing Katarina. Basically, seriously, I'm dead serious. Someone without a brain could play Katarina well, because you just hit 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Her own hop kick has an auto combo. I'm surprised I don't see many Katarina players, but yeah, she's piss easy. We all know this. Sorry, Dcast. Claudio. I think Claudio's very solid, but I just think he's kind of brain dead because you don't have to use many moves with him. The main moves you're going to use with him is his hop kick. We all know that. Side step 4, his back 1, while running 2, forward, forward 4. His starburst is very good. And again, you don't really need to think much playing with Claudio. You can get away with his hop kick so much online because of that stupid ass the crushing and range it has. And it's even hard to punish on block. So yeah, Claudio can be annoying to play against. He is kind of brain dead in my opinion because you don't have to use many moves with him and they're already very strong. But that can be used against him because you have less moves to deal with, but they're still very, very strong moves. Chloe, explosive damage, crazy evasive properties, almost no execution in my opinion. Maybe a little bit of execution, but not much. Not much fundamental stuff going on. Yeah, fuck Chloe. Sorry. Bears are also characters that aren't meant to be strong, but their gimmicks, oh my fucking lord. You can get away with murder with these characters when it comes to their gimmicks. If they don't know the matchup, yeah, kiss the opponent goodbye. They're not winning the match. Again, they're not strong. Their fundamental tools are weak, but other than that, these characters are just, yeah, can be pretty scrubby, and they're not that hard. They don't take really much execution. And, just 50-50 all day long, basically no execution. Again, she's not a very strong character, but online, holy fuck, she's annoying. Her 50-50s, oh my fucking god. My fucking god, they're so annoying. And again, they take basically no work. No work. Marduk, fuck this character, okay? It's just spam tackles on people, million damage, his grabs, his lows. What else? Even some of his mids. I mean, Marduk is not hard at all. I think Marduk is a Scrubs character, in my opinion. The only thing that I could say that is bad about him is his wall standing punishment. But other than that, Marduk is so strong. And he's kind of easy. The only thing I could say execution with him is his VTS cancels. 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 3 plus 4 into throw or something like that. A little bit, there is execution with that, but it's not like you have to do that. But if you do that, his wall carry becomes super good. You don't need it, but it's there. But yeah, Marduk is not hard. Yeah, and the fucking tackle, that shit alone is just like, even online, especially online, even offline, it's fucking annoying. Yeah, fuck Marduk. And then you have the good old Fahkumram and Leroy. Scrub tier characters. These are some of the scrubbiest, most bullshit, overpowered characters in the game. Fahkumram and Leroy. We'll go with Leroy first. Leroy, even though he has been nerfed a lot, which he needed, if we're talking about launch Leroy, he is the scrubbiest, most bullshit, overpowered character in Tekken, in my opinion. Maybe outside of Tekken 5 Steve. Or maybe Tekken 4 Jin. I don't know. But Leroy and Fahkumram are just so easy. And they're so strong. There's literally no execution with neither of these characters. And their fundamental tools are so brain-dead stupid that you don't even need good fundamentals to play with them. You could be carried by these characters. You can legit be carried by Fahkumram and Leroy to high ranks. And it is so annoying. I always lose to Leroy's and Fahkumram's when technically the player is not as good as me. I hate losing like that to characters like Fahkumram, Leroy, Marduk. Honestly, all of these characters, in my opinion. Alyssa. Most people can get away with murder with these characters, and that's why I put them in a scrub mode category instead of very easy. I decided to put them as scrub tier characters. You know, that's why I didn't put characters like Josie in scrub mode, because I wouldn't call her scrub mode. She's easy, but I wouldn't call her scrubby. Same thing with Negan. Wouldn't call him a scrubby character. Characters like fucking Marduk, Fahkumram, Leroy, oh yeah, they're scrubby alright. And they're very easy, and they're very strong. And this is why I think all three of these characters should get big nerfs. So, that's all I really have to say. There's nothing really else I have to say about bitch-ass Leroy and Fahkumram. Guys, you already know what I'm talking about with these characters. I don't have to explain anything. But, yeah, this is basically my difficulty tier list. I hope that you guys enjoyed my opinions. I hope that, I hope you guys understand my point of view. If you guys, have anything you want to talk to me about with this tier list, let me know in the comments or let me know on Twitter. And, yeah, I'm done here. So, thank you everyone for stopping by. This is Falcon. And peace out, everyone.